In this part of monsters, we are going to give the zombie the ability to attack the player. Now, in order for us to do some damage, we need a health bar. I'm going to be using this progress bar pack by UPLN. Go ahead and add that to my assets. Bring that into my project. If I go over to the progress bar folder, there's two here. There's one for circle and there's one for bar. I'm going to go ahead and use the bar, and I know what I need to do here is create a canvas. If I come into scene view, UI and canvas, and then I can drag the bar prefab into my canvas object. Come into 2D here, bring up my canvas. There is my health bar, and I'm going to want to anchor this to the top left because it's a bit intrusive in the middle, and also my weapons are in the middle, so I don't want it getting in the way of that. So I will take its anchor point and its Shift Alt will also set its anchor point and its position. I'll go ahead and do the top left. And now when I play this, I should see my health bar come up in the middle, and there it is. Good stuff there. Going to give the player the ability to set this value. I've not actually made a player script, so let's do that now. Do a new script. I'll call this player. And to keep things organized, I'm going to move this into my scripts folder. I'm going to move that too. With the script added, the next thing I need to think about, and before I actually write the code for this script, is when Bart actually swings for the player, we want the screen to have like a red border effect, like you're being damaged. So think of being shot in a first-person shooter. You do get that kind of borderline red image come up on the screen, and we're going to do that using this damage image that I found. Anything that isn't red or a shade of red has an alpha value of 0. In order for me to use this in Unity, I believe I have to change the texture type, and I think it's that one there. And if I apply that there, now Unity kind of views this the way it should be viewed. I'm going to go into my UI, add an image. Right, that does have a rect transform, and I'm going to call this damage image. And for the image part, I'm going to bring in my damage PNG, and then I can take the rect transform and I can go and do Shift Alt, and I want it to stretch all the way through. Okay, so that will be this. Now that's what's going to look like when I have been damaged. Over here in my C# editor, I can now incorporate the two UI elements I have just added. So the first one is going to be a public game object, and that's going to be the damage image. And the next one is going to be the progress bar, and I will call this the progress bar. I'm going to make a value to store the player's health. It starts off at 100, and a Boolean flag variable for the alpha fade. So we display the image when the player is hit and this flag gets set, and then we use that flag in the update to fade the damage image away from the screen. And we will start the health bar at the beginning as health. And so at the beginning we are extremely healthy, and that changes as we play the game. The function that will actually do the processing of damage is going to be called hit, and I'm going to make this hit, and I'm going to make this a public function because it can be called from other places. To do the damage image, we're going to take the alpha color. So I will call this color equals damage image, and we'll get the component, we'll get the image component of that image, of that UI element, and we'll get the color part, and we will set the alpha to be 1. So at this point the image is completely visible. Well, not at this point, after this line it will be completely visible. Image color equals my color variable, and we will set our flag is hit to true, and the parameter that this is going to take is a damage value. So whomever calls this hit function has to supply a damage value, and that's simply the amount that gets taken away from our health. And when our health gets to 0, it is game over. So we'll take that, and we'll set the progress bar value to be health. When I'm not going to think about the game over just for the time being. That's a mechanic that I will implement at a later point. For now, I'm just going to remove the, not the health from the health, the damage value from the health. That looks more like what I'm trying to achieve, and then just remove the health. We'll set the bar value to be health. In the update function, it's time to implement the fade effect. So first thing to do is check, autocomplete, right, is hit. Oh, no wonder, it's not auto, I'm blaming autocomplete, and it's my terrible coding. Okay, is hit, if is hit, if, and the next thing to do is to check whether there is an alpha value. If there is an alpha value, we will remove a certain amount from that alpha value. So we'll get the component, and actually I will clean this code up because there's no reason to be constantly getting the component. I should just store this at the start, but let's just get it working for now. So if we have alpha value, we want to decrease alpha value. So we'll do the same thing with our color, and let's do this slightly quicker. Remove, let's start with 0.01f and tweak it from there, and then reset this color value to be the faded color. And if isn't true, it means alpha must already be at 0, and at that point the hit effect is complete. So I can say false if hit, right? Okay, Good job. Is hit is false, and I will add some comments to this just to clarify. And just for testing purposes, we will check this hit function using the spacebar. So if we call hit on key up, and we will take away 10. So drum roll, let's see what that gives us. Let this compile. Oh, and before I test this, I have to actually make this image disappear. So if I go into, so at the moment this alpha is already at 1, and I need to make its alpha to be 0. So now the image is there, but it's completely transparent. And if I go and play this, and here's me hitting the spacebar, I got nothing. And that is because I have errors. And that is because I have not set the public variables of player. So let me go and find player. Okay, so I need to provide the damage image as a game as the variable. So now it has reference to the damage image. The damage image is invisible because I set its value to be invisible. But if I do, so this is the effect we're kind of looking for. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see if my C# code does that rather than me doing it manually, which would get very, very awkward. Okay, let's try pressing the spacebar. Cool. Now at the moment my spacebar is also tied to the jump, so every time I jump I also invoke the damage, and you can see on the top left hand side my damage is going down. Back in Visual Studio Code, let's just correct some of this spelling. So now that we know that tracking is working, we need to do the next thing, which is attacking. So we can track the player, and then once we get close enough, we want to actually swing at the player. So let's do that, and it's going to be very similar to what we did for patrolling. So we'll say if distance to player is less than distance for attacking. Okay, so we are now close enough. We want to change the state to attacking. That's all we're going to do. So we'll say state equals monster state dot attacking. There you go. What we actually need is an attack animation. So well, let's do that. If we go back into the animator, and we'll load up bot. So from running, we now add an attack. We will. I'm pretty sure there was one there. It's on swing. So swing. What does swing do? Yeah, swing kind of swings. It's just gonna wail his arms at us. Good. That seems like a reasonable attack. So we grab the attack. So now we've got run in place, and the same thing. We'll make a transition. And again, for this one, don't want an exit time, and we just want it to go straight into stuff from running. Yeah, but we want that slightly closer. Same way we did last time. Bring that over there, bring this over here, and then go, oops, bring that over there, this over here, bring this over there. Okay, and now we should see the transition. So without any exit time, so we don't want to wait for the run to finish in order for us to attack. We just want to attack as soon as we get close enough. We'll do a very similar thing, and we'll just go backwards, back into running. But this one we do want an exit time, so we do want the swinging to finish, and then he can go back into chasing. Right, so we need some triggers for this. So we'll go back into parameters, and we'll say new trigger, and we'll call this attack trigger. And we've already got a run trigger, so that one there should be the attack. That's why I couldn't see it before. It's up here. That's the attack trigger, going to be, that's the walk trigger, and then that's the run trigger. So that gets us to run, and then this also gets us to run. Yes, that makes sense. So they go back into our state machine, and this time what we're going to say is, I'm going to put the if statement in the right place this time. If state is a monster state, so we go here, monster state dot attacking. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is keep moving towards the player because we can see the player, so we should still be chasing the player down. Dot set trigger. Okay, and this should be attack trigger. So we'll play this. Let's zoom round. So there you go, patrolling, patrolling, patrolling. Tracking, and then there. Yeah, he did what he needed to do. He is attacking, he's going mental. He is sliding, so he's still kind of moving around. So I can't really do anything, but that's kind of what we wanted. Roar. Get the hit to play, get the hit visual to run when we're in this attacking state, and we've already got a reference to the player, so we can go and get the script. So get component, player controller, and I should see the hit function come up. So this time, and I need to provide some damage, and I'm going to allow this to be a tweakable variable. I'll put this in the public section up here, and I will say public integer damage for swing. For swinging, for waving your arms at the player, I will set it as an initial value to 10, but that can be tweaked inside the inspector. And then we can take that and pop that into our hit function. Let's give that a bash and see what we have. Strolling up to Bart. Bart's going to start tracking and then attacking. So there, on the console, you could see the states. And at the moment, he's relentless, and also we cannot actually escape this. The next thing to do is fix Bart's constant attacking of us. So once we've hit the player once, we now have a decision to make. We can go one of two ways. We are either going to be beyond the distance. Well, the first thing we need to check for, has the player moved? So we've attacked once, and since that attacked, has the player moved? Go into a different state, and the state we go back into is tracking. That's one of the outcomes. This does not look right at all. Right, that should be distance to player. The flip side to this, or the other side to this, is we are still within range of the player. So we've attacked and we are still within the range of the player. And in that case, we're going to make a brand new state, and we're going to call this, in order for me to make the state, I need to add the state waiting. And this is going to be waiting for the next time period that Bart can actually attack. So at the moment there is no time period, which is why we get the issue of he's just constantly attacking us. When we attack once, we then wait for a certain period of time before we think about attacking again, and that period of time is the attack frequency. And whilst we haven't reached that attack frequency, we're in the waiting state. I hope that makes some resemblance of sense, and hopefully if the code works, it might become slightly clearer, rather than me waffling on with this long-winded explanation. And now we write the state machine. Well, now we write how we handle that state. So first of all, we're going to check for that state. So state is the same as what's the state dot waiting. We first accumulate our timer. So we carry on. We check whether enough time has passed for us to reassess whether we're gonna attack again or whether we're not gonna attack again. So attack frequency. So if the amount of time that has passed is greater than the attack frequency, we then check where we're at in terms of distance to the player. So if distance to player is less than attack distance for attacking, then we attack again. So state equals monster state dot attacking. And if after that attack frequency time period has passed and we are further away from then the attack distance, so Bart's no longer in reach is one way to think about that, of the player. So we're beyond this distance. We then go back in tracking. So then we go back into the following state. Just to attempt to summarize this, once we get into this attacking state, we attack. We do this once, and then once we're in the attacking state, we then check whether it's still viable to stay in the attacking state, and if it is, we go into this waiting state. So we have to wait for a certain time period whether we can attack again. And the logic here is to prevent what we just saw when we first ran this script without this new state, where Bart just constantly attacked us. That's the theory and that's the hope. Let's see what the reality actually is. If I play this, what should happen is Bart should wait a period of time, which I believe is 2. It is 2. So Bart should wait for 2 seconds before he attempts to attack again. Let's see. Patrolling. And here we go. We're going to go up to Bart. Bart's tracking, and then there. Right. Hopefully this makes sense. The damage is only ever occurring at a period of 2 seconds. I'm in patrolling. I'm going to get hit once and then move back so that Bart has to go into the tracking state again. So he's going to come up, attack me once. Now go back, watch the state there. He's gone into tracking, but look at the animation. The animation has remained as the attack animation. So that's what I need to fix. I can take my enemy animator and re-trigger the run animation. So this time, when I go back into the tracking state, my animation also changes into the run animation, and I'm going to get hit once and then go back into tracking and see what Bart does. Right, so he's attacked me, and now this time there, he's gone back into the run animation, which looks much, much better. Get attacked once again, and then he's going to turn, and there. That's much more of the logic that we're looking for. Just to finish off, I've gone ahead and added some comments to my code just to keep things nice and clear. Please do join me for the next part, where we will be looking at the player getting their own back. So yeah, Bart can dish it out, but can he take it? Let's find out in the next part. Cheers.